This is part 2 of a two-part series on how to implement infinite scrolling for web applications. Part 1 we saw how to implement infinite scrolling using Vanilla JS. In part 2 we will see how to implement infinite scrolling in Angular framework. It's important to have an understanding on how to implement infinite scrolling using Vanilla JS before moving on to this video. So if you haven't watched part 1, I recommend you to watch part 1 because in part 1 there are various things on infinite scrolling that is covered in detail. So I will not cover those details in part 2. So in part 2 we will be implementing infinite scrolling logic in Angular framework. We'll have two projects. We'll implement an Angular project and we'll be consuming an API that is exposed via this Node.js project. So this project is already developed by me, and the source code for this project is available in GitLab. The link to the source code is here. And let's move on to implement the infinite scrolling logic in Angular. So this is a brand new Angular project. We'll start the project. Our target is to arrive at this final output. On scroll, we'll be able to load additional records. So until all the records from the backend are returned to the front end. So this is the output which we will be targeting to arrive at in this video. Let's open the port. We'll remove this boilerplate code and let's start implementing this. And as we saw in part 1, we will have a container in which we'll have countries, and then we'll have the items element, which is the scrollable element that will render all the records returned from the backend API. So the items element will have children, and each children will have title and description elements. So inside these elements, we'll be rendering the response return from the backend. Let's create the items element. So we have this format. Let's consume the API that is exposed by the backend. Here we can see an error. So let's declare this variable in TS file. we'll need a constructor to add a HTTP object. We will import the HTTP object, HTTP class, HTTP client class. And before that, we have to add the HTTP module in our app module.ts file. HTTP client module. We have to add it in our, we have to import it in order to unlock our HTTP client. So let's add the URL here, backend URL. We can find this URL in this PPT, in this slide deck or anything. So here we have to pass two values. One is page and another is limit. Can hard code it as 5. Let me convert this into string literal notation. This URL is passed to our HTTP object, HTTP get method, and this will return our response object, response HTTP response object. Let's print this object. We have to declare another object called current page. We will set the default page as 1. And let's view the output. Here we are able to view the results of the API. We have to make use of this content object. So let's push the content object into our content array. We'll destructure the we'll merge the output of content object into our content array. Content object that holds the API response into our content array. And currently we can see our 5 records, the 5 records that were written by the API in our screen. So we have already added the logic to render the content in our screen in HTML template. So we can see the rendering accordingly. Let's add the required styles for in order to have the same look as our final output. So the items element is the scrollable element, as we can see in our final output. So here the items element is the element that is scrollable, in which we will render all the responses returned from the paginated API. We will align the content to the center of our screen, and we will add background to our items. Adding to our texts. So currently we have the same look as our final output. We can also extend our width to 55. So we are not able to see any this kind of final output because we have not added the overflow scroll CSS property yet. So let me add the overflow scroll. So we are adding overflow Y because we need to add a vertical scroll bar. So currently you can see the elements are visible on scroll. I can add some more space. So, so we are able to view the scroll bar in our scrollable element. Now we have to add the scrolling logic to our program. So in order to implement scrolling logic to our program, we need to bind the scroll event to a function. So Angular provides this scroll event. We can access the scroll event using this notation, and we can bind a function to it. As we saw in part 1, the required properties to identify if the scroll bar has reached the end of the element. The required properties are scroll height, scroll top, and client height. These three values can be extracted from the event object itself. So let's extract the values. Client height. Let's see if we are able to receive the event on scroll. So currently we are able to receive the event on scroll. Scroll height indicates the entire height of the element, including the content. But client height indicates only the height of the element. So that's why you can see scroll height is 2360 pixels, because it indicates the entire height of the element, which includes the content. But client height indicates only the height of the element. And you can see scroll top. You can see scroll top increases when we scroll down. It indicates scroll top indicates the position of the scroll bar. So you can see the only value that is getting increased is scroll top. Scroll height and client height remains constant. Our objective is to invoke the API with the next page number so that we can load the remaining records when the scroll bar hits the end of the element. So we have to identify if the scroll bar has reached the end of the element. So in order to identify, we have to make use of this formula. Scroll position is equal to scroll height minus scroll top plus client height. As we observed in this output, we can, if when the scroll bar reaches the end of the element, the value of scroll top plus client height will be equal to the scroll height. So when we subtract both values, it will be 0. If the value is 0, if the value is scroll position is 0, then it means the scroll bar has reached the end of the element. If it is 0, we'll invoke the API with the next page number. So let's invoke this API. Before that, let's type the formula. If scroll position is 0, we'll invoke this API. Current page. We have to increment the page and then pass it to the method. So let's view the output. Let me comment the logs. So when the scroll bar reaches end of the element, we have the next API has been invoked. So you can see the page 2 has been invoked now, and let's try again. Now we can see page 3 is getting invoked. The total pages are 6. So 5, 6. And you can see what there is. Uh, Even though we have reached the end of the pages, total pages, uh, next API will still get invoked when we reheat the end of the scroll bar again and again. So in order to avoid it, we have to check if the total pages is greater than current page. So if the total pages is greater than current page, that means we still have to fetch records from the API. If the total pages is not greater than the current page, that means we have reached the end of the page. So we have to add that logic as well. We can get the value of total pages from this API response data dot total pages. Total pages has to be always greater than current page. Now let's try hitting the end of the page. So we have reached page 6, which is the end of the page, which is the total number of pages that is available for the total number of records. And when we hit the end of the element, we don't see any other APIs getting invoked here. Until now, we have seen how to implement infinite scrolling functionality using Angular project. This is part 2 of a two-part series. We have already seen how to implement infinite scrolling using Vanilla.js in part 1, and now we have seen how to implement infinite scrolling using Angular